What should you expect when meeting the lawyer? It's simple. You should expect the lawyer's undivided attention. The first meeting with your lawyer, or potential lawyer as the case may be, should be one that lasts at least 30 minutes. And during this time, you should have your lawyer's undivided attention. Does the lawyer sound empathetic? Is the lawyer caring? This is a good sign. Flip side, is the lawyer checking his or her cell phone every few minutes? That's a really, really bad sign. If the lawyer can't give you his or her undivided attention for the first 30 minutes when you're considering hiring him or her, why would you think that the lawyer will give you any more time after that lawyer's already hired? Doesn't make sense. So let's face it, even if you don't have those issues, there are some people whose personalities just don't mix. If you're getting that vibe from your lawyer, I'd suggest you politely end the meeting right then and there. It's probably not your fault, and it might not even be the lawyer's fault. But many personal injury cases take years to resolve, and you won't want to be stuck working with someone you can't stand. It's no fun for either of you. So let's move on to what questions you should be asking this potential lawyer. After you exchange some pleasantries, it's perfectly acceptable to go right into why you're there. The following is a list of questions you should ask the personal injury lawyer and why you should ask the question. So the first question, have you handled this case before? Have you handled a case like mine in the past? Obviously, you want a lawyer who is familiar with your type of injury case. Here's a pro tip. Most injury lawyers, frankly other kinds of lawyers, handle car wrecks. But very few lawyers can take on medical malpractice claims or other types of injury cases. Here's why. My last injury case had over $40,000 in case expenses. Think a billboard lawyer can afford to put that kind of money in a case? No way. Car wreck cases are fairly straightforward. Medical malpractice cases involve hiring experts, poring over medical records, and litigating with some of the best defense lawyers. And the same holds true for products cases and nursing home neglect and abuse cases. So you want to consider that answer. Question number 2, how many cases like mine have you handled? Naturally, you want a lawyer who's not just familiar with your type of case, but someone who can expertly handle it. And there are so many kinds of personal injury matters, it's impossible for one lawyer or even one law firm made up of lawyers to have handled them all. You want your lawyer to have experience. If the lawyer's being honest and he hasn't handled it before, he or she will be able to give you some examples of cases that the lawyer has filed. And you'll be able to independently verify those cases. If the lawyer tells you that he or she handles your type of case all the time, every day, he or she better have a bunch of examples, a bunch of court cases to show you. And you can look this up on the internet. Unfortunately, too many lawyers are willing to skimp on the truth to pick up an injury case. So keep that in mind. I also want you to keep in mind, you may have a very novel injury case. A competent injury lawyer will be able to tell you your case is new. Alternatively, the potential lawyer might explain why your case is new to him, but he believes he can help handle it because he's handled other similar cases. A good example of this would be a medical malpractice lawyer who takes on nursing home abuse and neglect cases. That's my situation. While the bulk of my practice is not nursing home abuse and neglect, I do these cases because they fall closely in line with medical malpractice cases. Both types of cases involve medical providers, although nursing home cases tend to involve more regulation. That's essentially the difference. So the next question, number 3, how many other lawyers and staff are around you to help? A typical personal injury case where the victim is seriously hurt, the insurance company is going to throw at least 2 lawyers working on the matter. Those two lawyers are going to have staff under them, working for them. If your personal injury lawyer, without any assistance, he or she will get railroaded. And by that, I mean you will get railroaded. I am a firm believer that small firms provide the best representation. But a firm can be too small to handle a serious injury case. And while you should expect the lawyer you hire to do the bulk of the work, you need to know that others are working on your case with the lawyer. You don't want that lawyer to be the only one in the office. Think about the lawyer answering his own phone. How much is he getting done? And preferably, you want to know that that lawyer has at least one other lawyer to bounce ideas off or around. And you want to know if something happens to your lawyer that someone is in the office to move your case forward. So think about that. The next question, question 4, when's the last time you went to trial on a personal injury case? This question is likely the most important. If your personal injury lawyer cannot tell you the last time he or she went to trial on a personal injury case, that lawyer has probably never went to trial, and it happens. You should immediately leave. There is no lawyer that is so good at negotiating that he or she can avoid trial his or her whole career. If your personal injury lawyer is one of the good ones, that lawyer will be fighting tooth and nail for his client's recovery. That fight will usually culminate in a jury trial. So make sure that your lawyer is a trial lawyer. Otherwise, your lawyer is just a billboard lawyer masquerading as a trial lawyer. So don't fall into that trap. My rule of thumb has always been at least one trial per year. And it's no secret that the majority of cases settle well before trial. In fact, the overwhelming majority of cases settle before trial. That is our system of justice. That's how it's set up. That being said, if your lawyer never goes to trial, that is the same as saying he never fights for his clients. And you should be aware of that. So, question 5. The next question I want you to ask. What was the result of your last personal injury trial? The whole purpose of this question is to see how honest your lawyer is going to be with you. Those of us who try cases because we fight for our clients are going to lose at some point in time. And maybe the facts weren't in our favor, or a juror doesn't like our client. But one thing is for sure. When you try cases and you're just going to get a bad result, you're bound to get a bad result at some point in time. So why am I telling you this? It doesn't matter if your lawyer won or lost his last trial. What matters is how he or she explains what happened at the trial. If the lawyer won his last trial, but all he talks about is how great he did, he was this, he, walk out. This is someone you do not want to be working with. The best trial lawyers know trials are won because of great teams. At the time of writing this, I just finished a week-long trial. The result was fantastic, but the credit belongs to my client, who bravely took the stand and calmly explained to the jury why compensation was deserved. Why did the majority of the talking? My client won the case. If the lawyer tells you that he lost his trial, you should expect the lawyer to take 100% of the responsibility. That lawyer chose to take the case, and maybe it was a hard case to win, but a lawyer who's going to blame anyone but himself is not someone you want to do business with. At the same time, I want you to know that the lawyer should be cringing when they tell you this. Tell you that they lost the trial, and you should know how it affects them to see their client lose.